The Saturday before everything went wrong, I was sitting in my office downtown, working on my quarterly reports. My office was quiet, the kind of quiet where you could hear the hum of the air conditioner and the faint sound of cars outside. I had been working hard all week, finishing numbers, checking charts, and making sure everything was perfect. I was thinking about how peaceful it was when suddenly my phone buzzed. It was a group text from my sister, Sealstein. I opened it and saw that she had sent a link to the family chat. I didn't know what to expect. The first message read, "Getting offers already. Can't believe how fast this is moving." I clicked the link, curious and a little confused. My heart stopped for a moment when I saw it. My beachfront house, the one I had worked so hard to buy and maintain, was listed for $2.3 million. They even had a professional photography virtual tour and an open house scheduled for Sunday, February 5th. I froze. I owned that house outright. I had bought it 8 years ago for $890,000 using money from my consulting business. Sealstein knew that. Everyone knew that. The deed was in my name only. I paid all the property taxes from my own account. The insurance policy listed me as the only owner. I could feel my hands shaking as I grabbed the phone and dialed Sealstein. "Oh, you saw it," she said, her voice bright and cheerful. "Don't worry. I'm handling everything. You're always so busy with work. I figured I'd help you sell some assets. The market is incredible right now." I felt my stomach drop. "Sealstein, you can't sell my house. Our dad didn't help with the down payment. The house is mine. I bought it myself. This is fraud." She laughed, and it was the kind of laugh that made you angry because it was so calm and unbothered. "God, you're so dramatic. It's just real estate. I'm doing you a favor. That place is too big for one person anyway. Stop being difficult." She hung up before I could say anything more. I sat in my office for 3 minutes just staring at the screen as the listing refreshed. The number of offers kept growing. 21 offers had already been made. The price had jumped to $2.4 million. The description read, "Motivated seller, bring your best offer." I felt my chest tighten. This was my house. My home. How could she think she had the right to do this? I knew I needed help, so I called my real estate attorney, Cale Dorian. He had helped me when I purchased this property and when I bought 2 rental units downtown. Cale answered on the second ring. "I need you to look at something," I said, my voice shaking a little. I sent him the link to the listing. He was silent for 8 seconds. 8 seconds of silence felt like forever. Then he said, "Claire, this is your Shoreline Drive property." "Yes," I said. "You didn't authorize this listing, right?" "No," he said quietly. "Your sister is the listing agent?" "Yes." There was more silence. Then Cale said, "I'll be at the open house tomorrow at 2 p.m. Don't contact your sister. Don't post about this online. Document everything she sends you, but do not respond. I'm calling the title company right now." That night, the family group chat exploded. Mom wrote, "So proud of Sealstein for helping Claire finally see reason." Dad added, "About time that property started benefiting the whole family." Brandon, my brother, said, "I'm putting my share toward the boat I've been eyeing." Not one of them asked me if I even wanted to sell the house. I couldn't sleep. My mind kept going back to the day I bought the house. I remembered walking through the empty rooms, measuring the windows, imagining where the furniture would go. I remembered the ocean view from the primary bedroom, the small deck where I drank coffee every morning, and the feeling of knowing that I had built something entirely on my own. This wasn't just a property. It was the first thing I had built with my own effort. Sealstein had been furious when I bought it. "You're being selfish," she had said. "That money could help all of us." She wanted me to invest in her previous real estate project, a condo flip that went bankrupt within 6 months. I had refused. Sunday morning arrived. I drove past the house, feeling nervous and angry. Celestine's luxury SUV was already there. She had hired a staging company. Through the windows, I could see that they had moved my furniture, added decorative pieces, and even hung different art on the walls. A professional photographer was setting up lights, and the enormous sign in the front yard said, "Sealstein Calith Premium Properties. Open house today, 2 to 5 p.m. I parked 3 blocks away and waited, watching everything carefully. At 1:55 p.m., Cale arrived in his Mercedes. He carried a leather portfolio and was dressed in a suit, looking very serious. I watched him walk up the front path and disappear inside. At 2:03 p.m., my phone started ringing. I didn't answer. At 2:07 p.m., 3 police cruisers pulled up to the house. I drove closer and parked across the street. A small crowd had gathered on the sidewalk, potential buyers, neighbors, people walking their dogs. Some were filming everything on their phones. Cale was standing on the front porch with 2 officers. Seelstein was next to him, looking pale and gesturing wildly. I could hear bits of what she was saying. Misunderstanding, family property. I walked up to the porch. One officer turned to me. Are you Larissa Caleth? Yes. You're the owner of this property? Yes. I bought it in 2017. I never said anyone could sell it. Cale opened his portfolio and handed the officer some papers. A copy of the deed showing I owned the property, proof of property tax payments for the last 8 years, and the homeowner's insurance documents. All in my name. The officer looked at Seelstein. You listed this property for sale without the owner's authorization. That's illegal. Celestine's voice shook. She's my sister. This is a family matter, not illegal. The officer said firmly, No. This is fraud. Real estate fraud. You signed documents claiming authority you did not have. You staged an open house pretending the property was yours. Inside the house, I could see the potential buyers gathering their things. Some were showing the officers the offers they had submitted. One couple was talking to another officer, showing photos of the deposit they had made. Mom's car screeched to a halt at the curb. She and Dad jumped out. Dad was already yelling before he even reached the house. Seelstein tried to explain. Larissa, tell them this is a misunderstanding. Cale stepped forward. Mr. and Mrs. Caleth, your daughter committed real estate fraud. The police are investigating. Mom looked at me shocked. You called the police on your own sister over a house? She tried to sell my house without my permission, I said quietly. This is a crime. Dad turned to Seelstein. You said Larissa agreed. You said Dad's down payment made it family property. How could you do this? Celestine's eyes were filled with tears. I thought it should benefit all of us. I spoke softly but firmly. I bought this house myself. Dad offered to loan me money at 8% interest. I declined. I got a conventional mortgage. I've paid every bill, every tax, and every insurance premium for 8 years. You all knew this. One officer was on his radio. Another officer was taking statements from the potential buyers inside. A third officer was reviewing the documents Cale had provided. The lead officer looked at Seelstein. Ms. Caleth, you need to come to the station for questioning. You have the right to remain silent. Wait, you're arresting her? Mom shouted. Cale said calmly, Your daughter listed property she doesn't own, signed documents, accepted offers. This meets the legal definition of fraud, identity theft, and forgery. The title company has already filed a complaint. Potential buyers can take civil action for their losses. Dad turned to the officer. How many offers did she accept? 27, one officer said. Several included earnest money deposits. Where's that money? Dad demanded. Seelstein didn't answer. She was crying harder now. Cale explained. The earnest money went into an escrow account. When the title company couldn't verify ownership, they froze the account and contacted authorities. The buyers will get their deposits back, but they could also sue for damages like inspection fees, appraisal costs, attorney fees, lost opportunities, and emotional distress. Each buyer could claim $300,000 to $500,000. That is separate from criminal charges. Brandon's car pulled up. He jumped out, confused. Why are the cops here? I thought we were celebrating Celestine's sale. There is no sale, I said. Seelstein tried to sell my house without permission. She's being arrested for fraud. I turned to Cale. Take the listing down immediately. Place a title alert on this property. File a restraining order. He nodded. It's already in process. The listing will be down within the hour. No transactions can happen without your in-person authorization and 2 forms of ID. I'll file the restraining order tomorrow morning. I felt a mix of relief and sadness. Relief because justice was being done, and sadness because my own sister had tried to betray me. I looked at my house, the place I had built with my own hard work, and I knew that it would stay mine. But the thought of all the drama, the heartbreak, and the trust that had been broken made me tired. I sat on the curb, watching the officers guide Seelstein into one of the police cars. The buyers were leaving, many shaking their heads. Some were filming everything for evidence. My parents stood frozen, unsure what to do next. My brother Brandon was pacing back and forth. Cale put his hand on my shoulder. You did the right thing. This is not just about a house. It's about protecting what's legally yours. I nodded. I knew he was right. But even though the law was on my side, the emotional pain of seeing my sister arrested, the tension in my family, and the sense of betrayal would take a long time to heal. One of the police officers was walking Sealstein toward the police car. My mom was crying, big tears rolling down her cheeks. My dad was on his phone, probably calling a lawyer. I could see the worry on his face. A woman in her 60s came up to me from the sidewalk. "Excuse me," she said politely. "Are you the real owner of this house?" "Yes," I said. "I was inside. I made an offer this morning. $2.5 million all cash." She looked at the house carefully. Then she looked at me. "I'm really sorry this happened to you," she said. "Your sister told everyone that you were very old and in a nursing home, and that she had power of attorney. She showed me some papers. I could tell immediately that they were fake. My sister had made fake papers saying she could act for me. I'm interested in buying the house the right way," the woman said. "If you ever want to sell, here's my card. But I understand if you don't want to have anything to do with this mess." I took the card. "Thank you," I said quietly. She glanced at my family, still upset and crying on the lawn. Then she left. I thought to myself, family isn't just people you are related to by blood. Family is people who respect your boundaries and do the right thing. After she left, Kale and I went inside the house. The staging company had changed it so much it looked like a completely different house. The walls were painted neutral colors. There was generic art on the walls. The furniture was arranged to look nice for buyers. All my personal things had been packed up and shoved in the garage. They had gone through everything. "Look at this," I said, opening closets and drawers. "My files, my documents, my personal things. Everything is messed up." Kale was taking photos with his phone. "This will help the case," he said. "Someone broke into your house. They might have stolen things. We need to document everything carefully." We spent 2 hours looking through every room. 3 pieces of jewelry were missing. They weren't very valuable in money, but they meant a lot to me. My financial files had been touched. Someone had probably taken photos of them, trying to get my bank account numbers and information about my money. That evening, my phone was exploding with messages. Family members I hadn't talked to in years suddenly had opinions. "You are destroying the family for money," some of them said. "Sealstein made a mistake, but you are making it worse. How can you do this to your own sister?" Not one of them said that Sealstein had tried to steal and sell my $2.3 million house. Not one. My cousin Jennifer was the only one who understood what happened. She called instead of texting. "I heard what happened," she said. "I am so sorry. For what it's worth, Sealstein tried something like this with Grandma's estate last year. It wasn't this big, but she pretended she had authority she didn't. We didn't press charges because Grandma asked us not to. Maybe that was a mistake. This is her pattern. She has done this before." The next morning, the local news ran a story. Real estate agent arrested for fake property listing. They didn't use Celestine's name, but everyone in our small town knew exactly who it was. Her brokerage released a statement. "We are helping the authorities and have terminated Ms. Kalitha's affiliation with our company." By Tuesday, 7 of the people who had tried to buy my house had lawyers. Kale sent me the letters from their lawyers. They wanted money back for inspections, appraisals, lawyer fees, and lost opportunities. The total added up to almost $180,000. "Sealstein has to pay that," Kale said. "But she probably doesn't have the money. They may try to get it from the brokerage's insurance, but she might risk bankrupt and not be able to pay." My parents came to my office on Wednesday. My dad looked 10 years older. He was worried and tired. "We need to talk about how to fix this," he said. "There's nothing to fix, Dad," I said. "Sealstein broke the law. She is your daughter, yes. She is my sister, yes. But she tried to sell my house. She made fake papers. She lied to many people. This is not just a family fight. This is fraud, a crime." My mom leaned forward. "If you drop the charges, we'll pay you back for any money you lost. We'll make it right." "You can't make it right," I said. "I didn't press charges. The state did. 27 buyers complained. The title company complained. The real estate board is investigating. This is bigger than me now." They left without another word. On Thursday, the court gave a restraining order. Sealstein had to stay 500 feet away from me, my home, and my workplace. The judge said that Sealstein had betrayed trust and was clearly trying to get money by cheating. At the hearing, Celestine's lawyer said it was just a family fight. The prosecutor showed the fake power of attorney papers, the fake listing, and statements from buyers who were told I was in a nursing home. The judge was not sympathetic. This was not a family disagreement. This was serious fraud. The judge set bond at $50,000. My parents paid for it. Sealstein walked out of court, and called me immediately. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. I was just trying to help. You are being unreasonable. When you calm down, you will see that. I saved the voicemail. Cale said it might help in the civil suits. 6 months later, Sealstein pleaded guilty to real estate fraud and identity theft. She got 3 years probation, 500 hours of community service, and had to pay $127,000 to the buyers she tricked. Her real estate license was gone forever. She never apologized. My parents paid most of her restitution. They even took out a second mortgage on their house to pay it. When my dad found out, he called me. I hope you're happy. You ruined your own family, he said. I didn't make fake papers or try to sell someone else's house. Sealstein did, I said. He hung up. I haven't spoken to any of them since the sentencing hearing. My brother Brandon tried to help for a few weeks, but he eventually gave up. They think you should have just let it go, he said. I don't agree, but that's where they are. I changed my locks. I put in a security system with cameras. I set alerts on all my properties. Any attempt to sell a house triggers an immediate alert to Cale and the local police. Last month, I refinanced my beachfront house. The appraiser said it was worth $2.8 million. I'm not selling. I'm not giving it to the family. I sit on my deck every morning with my coffee and watch the ocean. The view is exactly the same as it was 8 years ago when I bought the house. But I am different now. I used to think family meant always supporting each other, no matter what. Now I know family means respecting boundaries, honoring ownership, and not stealing. Sealstein wanted to take something I worked very hard for. But instead of losing, I realized how valuable it is. The house is mine. The deed is mine. The boundaries are mine. And that is exactly how it is going to stay.